So hey guys, we're back. Looks like I actually missed the whole entire segment where I spoke about brushing on the stain and how I treated this side over here. I'm going to repeat that process when I get to the other side anyway. As you guys can probably tell, I recently got this new remote. And speaker came along with that stand that I got. There's also a really cute segment where my other nephew came inside. I'm guessing I missed all that as well. Oh well. That's funny. But yeah. I am learning on how to record and whatnot. I now have new technology at my disposal that can help me make better videos. So I am trying my best to utilize them. So as you guys can tell, I've already done, the first thing I did was actually all the cut-in edges coming all the way around the border. After I did all that, that's allowing me to get the edge of the face frame and also the first maybe an inch or so off and get all the little details and all the little cracks and crevices. Make sure all that's nice and clean. After that, then I can work on doing a solid stroke for the long stiles and rails. And what I did was pretty much just work my way down the sections, keep wetting the brush until I got all the way to the end. And then I came back with a clean solid stroke all the way through. I also mentioned I added another coat to the sides here. I'm putting 2 coats on the face of the door, but all the edges and everything else, because it is a layered construction, that would be the weakest point of this build. Pretty much anywhere that doesn't have finish will be the weakest point. So if water's running down the side of the door and it's able to penetrate through the layers, it'll rot. So what I'm doing is, as I'm addressing the side, because the door's not been flipped, I'm able to get the underside of the face frames, all the layers of plywood as far back as the brush can reach. And then we're going to later come back with a caulk and or sealant. I'm debating on clear silicone and or a brown exterior caulk. That decision will really fall to the client on what they think will look better. But sealing up all the edges is definitely something I want to do. And then for the top side, I'm making sure I'm applying extra coats to there and the bottom, because again, the bottom and the tops of the doors will be what will rot first. I do plan to make an AZAC drip edge for the top of the door frame, just to keep water from actually running on the top of the door, because this is like a barn door type construction. The hinges are going to be face mounted, so the door, and it's going to be an outswing, so there is no door jamb or anything really to protect it. This is going to be the face. This is going to be recessed back into the garage door opening by maybe like 2 or 3 inches, the thickness of the brick mold and whatever reveal is already there. So I think adding a drip cap to the top would be a really good move to help increase the longevity of the door. And what I did when I did my initial cut-in, anything that I got over on the face of the stiles and rails, I came back and just dry brushed it. So when I do come back and do my solid wet brushing all the way across, there's no pulls or anything left behind, or bad streaks. And again, because I've already done all my delicate edging, I can come take this large 5-inch brush, make sure I'm filling in all the crevices, because this isn't sanded to a completely smooth surface. This again being T111. This large brush helps get the stain down in there. And again, after I have a full width brushed out, all the crevices taken care of, this right here is a full brush width. Then come back with a solid brush from top to bottom. Everything's already edged out. If I see any runs or anything else, I can address that with a light run of my brush across the edges. And then we'll repeat the edging process on the other side since I goofed and missed filming that. Again, I have a button now that I can keep inside of my apron to start the recording. I could have sworn I pressed it. I don't know. Guess I didn't. Maybe I pressed it too many times. I don't know. There's an audible, ding whenever you actually start recording. But how far the camera is from where I am, not audible. To me, anyway. And again, gonna go all the way up to my cutting line. Bring these two rows together. Get it all the way up tight as I can so it all blends together. Get all the little crevices filled in. Probably should wipe off the excess dripping off of there. Then I can come back and do the solid strokes. Also, another key tip. Probably should work from the middle of the door out so you don't have to lean over your door. But there was a nice little break in between my last recording and when I applied this, probably about 15-20 minutes because family and everybody else came in. So this is actually already fairly dry to the touch. So I'm not too worried about smearing this. Alright, now we're about to start the edging process again. Pick up from about where I left off. We want to make sure that we get the corners really good. And then come out from the edge a good little bit. But also extremely important that you actually get the corners fairly well painted. This one has one little edge that I just can't seem to quite get in there. There we go. That was almost a fight. And one of the reasons why it's really important to get the edges first is because you're probably not going to be going in the direction of your grain to get it. So you want to get that done so then when you do your solid strokes, you can lap over all of that and get a nice clean finish. See, that bottom border is edged in. And then, like I said earlier, after it's all etched in, I'm going to go ahead and get everything in the middle like I did in the inverse last time. Work my way to the outside, that way I'm not leaning over a freshly painted style. And just like I did over there, I have enough material on my brush to get it fully filled in, probably about halfway the distance of the door for one straight brush stroke or brush width. Then I'm going to come back from the top or whichever side, opposite of whatever side I started on, being the top or the bottom. Meet right there in the middle. Make sure I have all the crevices filled and stained. width of the brush. Make sure I get that bead really good. And then we're gonna take our brush, solid strokes up and down. And that's good until she dries. We'll say I bought a gallon. They said 1 gallon can cover, I think on a first coat can cover 350 square feet. These doors are about 7 foot tall, a little over 7 foot tall, and them together is just under, well, about 14 inches under 10 foot. So let's just call it 70 square feet for the face, and 70 square foot for the back. So only 140 square feet. So theoretically, I should have enough to 2 coat. And it says on the can that it can do more on the second coat. But even at that, that's 140, 280. It says 300 to 380 on a first coat. I should have enough to 2 coat both doors, front and back. I have 2 coated one side of both doors. This is the first coat on this side. And I got probably about a quarter can left. And I have a good little bit still left in here, so I'm hoping that's enough for the second coat. I'm gonna let this, it says for about an hour to 2 hours before recoating. Probably gonna give it about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, depending on how dry she feels. Then recoat. Hopefully this does that, so I have enough to do the 2 coats on the door and have some left for, you know, finishing touch up once I go to install, and maybe if I'm lucky enough to leave them with, you know, a quarter or so for touch ups over the time, or, you know, stain matching in the future or whatever. And with that, everything in the field is done. Before I do this bottom rail, actually let me do up there next. I will say this is my first door build like this. You know, I've done, you know, basic shed doors with just, you know, a piece of OSB plywood or something, or T111, and a couple 2x4s. But this door build has insulation and everything else in there because they wanted it to be more than just a shed door. So I wonder what kind of lifetime and expectancy we can get out of it. I definitely took and put all the precautions I can think. You know, again, if we were using like a spar varnish, I'd definitely give it a lot longer because it's just a stronger, better finish. But all this being untreated materials, minus the T111, I'm not sure how that's treated or how that's rated. But everything else is typically an interior product. But all the 1x6s that go on the face, they're clear, so there's no knots. So that's less likely to rot out than like a knotty board. I'll definitely give you guys updates as I continue my relationship with the clients. Before I do the stiles and rails, like I was saying earlier, the edges and the bottom and the top are my main priorities for the sealing process. So I want to make sure, again, we don't have any wicking issues So we have water traveling up through the bottom of the door or the top, and that be the cause of the failure on this door. So my goal is again to get all the layers, all the edges of all that sealed as far back as these bristles will allow me to reach. And in doing so, we'll give the door a much better chance at lasting outside. All right, and for the rail, now the bottom's done. It's been cut in all the way around. I just want to make sure I get enough stain on the rail itself. Kind of get the bulk of it right here in the middle. That way I can work it out left to right and get it almost at a dry brush by the time it meets the stiles. Because that brush stroke, again, I want going full vertical. And because the stiles are longer, just like how I did for the panel, probably gonna start about halfway. And I did make one mistake. I meant to get that edge first. And, it doesn't tack up that fast, but if I brush it and lay it down when it's wetter like this, it just comes out better. That was too much. I only got half a rail there. Should have went in and took all this excess and did this. Put some plastic over this, and I'll come back in an hour. Oh, while I'm at it, the camera's currently underneath the other door. Yesterday I was able to do the bottom side because it was out facing the down here. The other end being the top, which is the side that is now facing me, was on my table saw. So I didn't feel comfortable brushing in any stain on it. And currently this top has 3 coats on it, this top has no coats on it. So while this is exposed, let me go ahead and get an extra coat on it while I can. Again, like I said, top, bottom of the door, most important. These pieces will get a coat every time I go over it. So since the door is 2-sided and I'm putting 2 coats on each side, the top and the bottom should have about 4 coats by the time I finish, except for this one that didn't get any coats initially. Sorry, my thing is dripping. We'll need to sit this on the cloth when I'm done. But yeah, this one did not get 2 coats yesterday when the other side was getting coated up. So to make up for it, when I do the 2 coats on this side of that door, I'm going to go ahead and hit this top edge. So that way come tomorrow, she has 4 coats like everything else. All right. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, before I do my sign out, I'll give you guys a quick close up of everything, and then I'll sign you guys out. I think it'll actually show better without the sun in the background. Let me spin around to the other side. There we go. That is the first coat on this side. One more. And then we have the door over there that needs to get done. And the reason why I'm doing it this way, because as you guys can see, the shop is full of stuff. I actually recently just did a little bit of organization, but there's a whole pile of scrap still over there. I built a custom card holder. I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like, but templates are still sitting over there because I have a client that actually wants me to batch out some of them because she sells trading cards. So see if I can get time for that, but I need these 2 doors out of here, and our lovely mahogany door is still in the back. That door is getting installed Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. These 2 are gonna go in on Monday, which will free up the whole entire shop once again for the first time in probably 5 months. So looking forward to getting all this installed and out the way. And once I have this door behind me 2 coated, I can then move this door on top of it, build my T-Astrogold that's going to attach to this side. With that T-Astrogold mounted, then I can stain the whole entire door while it's sitting over here. Lots to do. We're getting there though. And as always, if you guys have enjoyed the content, let me know down in the comments. Leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.